give out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio New Year's Show, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, the Eagles continue to make games interesting, but two things came out of that game in Buffalo. Number one, winning in Buffalo is hard, and the Eagles did it. And two, the Eagles' defense is really good. Hopefully you're not on the bridge again worried about that offense. We'll get to that, that's for sure. The Sixers have lost 3 in a row. That's got you a little concerned, I know. Seems to be a situation brewing with Maxey, Embiid, and George together. They can't seem to win. The Flyers, they've been on the road, seems like forever, 7th time in 8 games tonight, but they're still in the hunt. Always a good time to talk baseball. So tonight we're going to talk Hall of Fame, and we're going to add some music to go with our final week of regular season predictions. And finally, Chet, we will list our top 5 greatest, best, or memorable moments, people, or whatever in Philly sports in 2025. We have plenty to talk about.
Always do, Bill. This is our 53rd full weekly show of 2025, by the way, just the way the schedule worked out this year at the beginning and end of the year. And we've never had a shortage of topics ever, Bill. It is an Eagles town, so they always give us something, especially right now as they prepare for the playoffs, one final regular season game. And yeah, postseason fast approaching. We do have Phillies baseball to talk about, though. And as we do every year, a little MLB Hall of Fame discussion, too, with our guest.
Absolutely. And we have a couple great guests tonight. In 97.5, the Fanatic's Kevin Cooney making a return visit, and a first-timer, Zeek Mitchell, founder of the haZy Cosmic Jive Tribute Band. We'll talk certainly some more about that.
Yeah, Zeke is going to tell us all about his great band and their annual early January show that's coming up at Brooklyn Bowl, Philly. I will be there for the 3rd straight year. But first, we've got Kevin Cooney back for what's become, as I said, an annual visit with him around this time to talk about the Philly sports scene, the year in review, the year ahead, and maybe give him a hard time about his 2026 MLB Hall of Fame ballot. We'll be kind. I promise you, Kevin.
Well, I think he already knows I'm coming after him because I came after him once already on Facebook. But that's all good. And Kevin is a great sport for doing that. Kevin, welcome back. Kevin always posts his Hall of Fame ballot, and he takes all comers. He's got his thoughts, and he takes anybody that's got anything to say. So, Kevin, welcome back.
This is the way you guys treat your version of Ryan Seacrest on the New Year's show. Thank you. Appreciate it. I figured New Year's would make you a little more in the holiday spirit, but
we'll be nice, I promise. All right, Kevin. Yeah, we're going to talk lots of Eagles and Phillies, and we will get to that MLB Hall of Fame battle of yours in just a bit. But I'm going to throw you off, and we're going to start here. Will the 76ers and or Flyers actually make a return to the postseason this spring? And if so, which is more likely to win a round or two?
I think they both actually make it. I think the Flyers will sneak in as like one of the last wild cards, although the East is really difficult. If you look at what the East, and how everybody's kind of in the same stratosphere, if you will. Yeah, you can fall from 1st to 9th in a couple days. They're young, they're inexperienced, but I think there's also, Zegras and Vladar have added a little bit of an element to them that makes them more exciting to watch. I would say they maybe sneak in the last seed. I think the Sixers, once they kind of get everybody together on the same page, and that includes George and Embiid, what you guys were talking about, George, Embiid, Maxey, and they kind of figure out how ball movement's going to work with those three together, I think the Sixers actually can make a run in the East.
Wow.
Nobody in the NBA's Eastern Conference really impresses me. I know, you can look at Detroit, you can look at New York, Cleveland. Boston's played a lot better than I think most of us felt without Tatum there. Yeah. But the Sixers' speed and the Sixers' ability to maybe get some youthful energy can give them a couple rounds. But, look, they're also one bad injury to Maxey from falling completely out of the play-in. So, yeah, it's that kind of year. I think you see more potential going forward with the Flyers, but I do see with the Sixers, in my mind, at least you have a core now with Edgecombe and Maxey moving forward.
Well, Kevin, it always seems with the Sixers that we're always waiting. We always seem to go into the last quarter of the season and we still don't have a regular starting group. And how long is it going to take to get these three guys on the court and get some rhythm? We're still early. I mean, we're not halfway through the season yet, but at what point do we have to say, these are our guys, they're healthy enough to carry us into the playoffs, let's go?
Well, I think also the other point in it, Bill, is the idea that you're not going to want to use, you have a limited amount of time with Embiid. Okay, you have 60 games. Are you going to waste 58 of them in the regular season? Or are you going to try to maybe use 45 of them in the regular season with the idea that maybe it gives you 15 really good ones in April and May? I think that's the balancing act. I will say one thing. George, to me, has been a lot better. If you're asking who the weak link of those three has been right now, it's Embiid. Because I thought Embiid's defense has been awful. His offense is starting to get back. His offense is starting to get back to earth and everything, but or is starting to get back in kind of more of a flow. But his defense is bad, and it feels like when he's out there, Maxey doesn't shoot as much. We saw that in the Brooklyn game the other night. That's a concern because to me, ball has to be going through Maxey right now.
All right, let's talk football. People want to talk football. Eagles, Sunday's win over the Bills. I mean, always great to get a win, as Bill said. Really tough to do that up in Buffalo.
Where's the buck coming? Where's the buck coming? Where's the buck coming?
But another horrible second half by the offense. Kevin, what is your level of concern about that with the playoffs fast approaching?
He's on the bridge again, Kevin. He's getting ready to jump.
Look. If the Rams were the super team everybody had talked about, if I felt super confident that the Seahawks and Sam Darnold and all that, I'd probably be concerned. The one trait, and I mentioned this on my show last night, the one trait the Eagles have against good teams is the ability to find a way. You saw it during the playoffs last year, I thought. Look, what they did last year was not sexy in the sense of, oh my God, this innovative offense and everything. It was run the football, get your offensive line going and everything. They haven't had that offensive line ability this year. But what I would say that I kind of feel like is you're going to get Johnson back. I think these guys, they're all going to rest, I think, this week. If you're asking me what I think they're going to do against Washington, I don't think they're going to play. Get in 2 weeks. I don't care if I get the Rams in game one compared to the Packers. Would the Packers be an easier road? Yeah. Would I like to have 2 home games guaranteed if possible? Sure. But I'm also at the point of the rest is the most important thing. I need them to be healthy to get to the start line in 2 weeks. Because if they don't, then they don't have a shot. And the one other thing I mentioned last night, guys, and I think the biggest favorable trait that this football team has compared to all the other elite teams that they've played. And remember, this year they've played in Kansas City, in Green Bay, in Buffalo. The biggest trait that they have is the ability to win a staring contest. And what I mean by that is, think of the Kansas City game. Turnovers beat the Chiefs. Okay, yeah, the Kelsey bobble and all that. That's why that game went that way. You look at the Green Bay game. Jordan Love was scared to death at that point. You look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen, and I get part of it might be the foot injury or whatever. Josh Allen just making mistakes that you never would expect Josh Allen to make. The 18-yard loss, the whatever that was, where they called it a fumble, probably was a forward pass, but it was such an ugly forward pass, he didn't earn the benefit of the doubt. And then missing the wide open guy at the back of the end zone on the 2-point conversion. The Eagles do that to teams. They break them mentally. They break them. And I'm not a huge Sirianni guy, and we've been through this in the past. I give them that. They are a mentally strong group. They got through all their chaos at the beginning of the year. There's less talk coming out of that locker room about how dysfunctional it is. I think they've kind of been stringing it along. And I think right now they're probably going to be ready if they're healthy, they'll be ready to probably go on a pretty big run.
Yeah, Kevin, I think in the second half, a lot of people getting after Jalen Hurts for how he played in the second half. Everybody's throwing them stats up there. In my thinking, Jalen Hurts played a pretty decent second half in the fact that he did not force anything. He didn't turn the ball over. What's their record? I want to say it's 41-6, 36-6, whatever it is. When they win the turnover battle, he didn't force plays. They got behind on first down. They got behind the chains like they have way too much. Certainly something's got to get fixed. But Jalen Hurts is not going to get them beat. As we saw in the game when he threw all the interceptions, he was trying to make plays that weren't there. And that is not what Jalen Hurts does. This game, he protected the ball, kick it away, play defense, and they came out with a win.
And Bill, one of their biggest weapons on Sunday, and I think it's actually one of their biggest weapons as we move forward here, is Braden Mann. Braden Mann hit some bombs and changed field position on Sunday in that game. Their defense will hold teams under 17. They will not turn the ball over, in my mind. I don't see that being a big part of it. If you've watched Hard Knocks and you see Sirianni say the ball, it's boring. It stinks for the people to watch. But to me, this is how they're going to win another Super Bowl. This is the only way they could win another Super Bowl, because of the fact that if they turn the ball over, then their defense kind of gets exposed. You don't have as much room to bend, and probably it opens up some different avenues for teams to score against them. I just don't see it. The only team that scares me in the NFC is Chicago. Chicago scares me because of how physical they were against the Eagles on the day after Thanksgiving. They do have the two running backs they get Monangai and Swift, that they can do change of pace and all that. I'm not sure I believe in Caleb Williams just yet, but I think he's
gotten a lot better though.
He's gotten a lot better, but I'm not sure he's there yet. Mm-hmm. The line play is where I'm scared of Chicago. I think that Chicago's line could end up mauling the Eagle line. Now, it's going to be a little different for Philly than it was that first time around, because that's when Carter basically threw the hands up and said, I need to get the surgery. And he was a force on Sunday, and him and Davis in the middle do change things.
Kevin, you advocated resting the starters this Sunday, Eagles Commanders at 4:25. And frankly, I think they can beat Washington with Tanner McKee and the other backups too. So, they might get the best of both worlds. But they end up locked in the third seed, assuming Chicago wins its game against Detroit. You're going to play either the Rams or the 49ers. You said those teams don't scare you as much as the Bears. Who would you rather play, the Rams or the 49ers in Philly?
It's a tough question. Up until the weekend, I would have said absolutely give me the Niners because of all the injuries that San Francisco's had. And I think right now I would lean towards the Rams. The one thing, Chet, in looking at the numbers on this, Los Angeles has had trouble coming east. Yeah, lost to Philly, lost to Atlanta, lost to Carolina, did not play well in Baltimore. If you watch that game against the Ravens, I thought they were a little off. Look, if you're gonna take your shot, I know people were saying, well, the Rams are the best team. Talent-wise, probably the Rams are the best team in this tournament, in the NFC side at least. But I would also say, look at Sean McVay's record against the Eagles. Look at, has that team really performed as well as you would have expected in a spot like this? I would say no. And they're not having them go on the road again, come east one more time. I'll take my shot with it. If it's San Francisco, I think the Eagles could wear them down because of the injury factor, especially along the D line. Yeah, I'm not as afraid of the 3 in the West as everybody else is. It feels like all three teams like cause heart palpitations around here, and I don't quite get it.
Yeah, I'm not worried. 49ers might beat Seattle this weekend.
Well, they're home. Yeah,
Sam Darnold doesn't scare me. Brock Purdy actually scares me more than any of the 3 of them out there because he's pretty good. He's pretty underrated and pretty good. So
if let's say you're NBC, you're rooting for Rams Eagles to be your Sunday night game on wildcard weekend, because that would be the one which will have the billing of it's the rematch from last year, which NBC had. Right. And to be honest, it would be the game that I think they would feel like they could bill as maybe the possible Super Bowl, like right off the bat on wildcard weekend, which, and they have the Super Bowl. So,
hey, Kevin, one thing I want to throw out there about the defense, both corners, we know how good they are. They both made first team or made the Pro Bowl in the first group. How good are these two? Are these going back to the Bobby Taylor, that time? Troy Vincent, right. Are they that good or maybe better?
I think Mitchell is that good. I love the fact that, it's almost like watching, just got to see haZy. It's almost like watching Darrelle Revis when he was with kind of in his prime with the Jets of, not a lot of people are looking over that way. And they very rarely test them. And when they do, he might get beat once. He doesn't get beat a second time. And I think that's maybe the best testament you can have. He's fearless. He's not going to Nnamdi Asomugha was viewed as that for a long time in the league as well. But Asomugha, people just didn't throw to him. Then when they realized they could, it worked out. So I would say right now, in my mind, Mitchell is clearly the better one. DeJean's had a good year. I think a little bit, him playing in the slot helps him, maybe compared to other slot corners in the league. I would say if you put him on the outside, I thought if you look at the Dallas game that they lost in Arlington, they had to put him to the outside. Remember, Adoree Jackson got hurt, and he got revealed a little bit there. But put him in the slot, he's been terrific.
Yeah, he could be physical in there for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun next month or so, guys. We're going to switch it up. I'm going to switch the background to blue, talk a little Phillies baseball now. Kevin, I'm not overly excited about the Phillies outfield the way it looks right now. What do you say?
I don't know. There was a move out there that would have made
it all right excited.
There. Well, no, I mean, and I know people say, well, you're being a What was the magic formula that would have changed anybody's opinion on this outfield? They weren't going to go for Kyle Tucker just because of the salary. There hasn't been a lot of movement in the outfield market. You want to say bringing Harrison Bader back would have been a big deal, fine. Harrison Bader also could have been revealed very easily with a new deal, and he's also another plus 30 guy. I get it. Garcia's numbers are not great, but he's more of a steady right-handed power bat as far as generating power than you see with Castellanos. And look, for everything, I think the one thing in Philadelphia we get focused on is everybody believes that, oh my God, they haven't done that much this offseason. They're just running it back. Oh my God, all these other teams. The rest of the division's been awful this offseason. You've seen what's happened to the Mets.
Yeah.
That it feels like an implosion. And this may be damning with faint praise. But it's, the Braves, okay, they go get Suarez, but I don't know if the Braves are exactly any better than they were at this time last year. If we're
Is the
going to
catcher
go,
coming back, Kevin? JT coming back?
I'm starting to think no. I think if it was going to get done, I think this enormous game of chicken that, I think the Phillies are right that nobody's going to pay him a third year. But I also think JT also realizes that at a certain point, hey, they've kind of told you what they think. And he's, he was on the back burner behind Schwarber, and he should have been. But like even last winter, even last spring, I got the sense from being around some people in the organization that they were willing to let JT walk, maybe go a cheaper route at catcher, more of a defensive route than worrying about the offensive threat, and maybe using that money somewhere else. That would bring Alec Bregman into the equation, and then there goes your chain of events. That could be Bohm or Stott or whatever they want to do after that.
Is the Castellanos situation broken? Is that repairable at all? He's still on the roster.
No.
Is he going to be there in spring training, or are they just going to eat $20 million?
They're eventually going to have to release him. I'll be honest. I said this last night on radio. I'm surprised it hasn't happened by now. I thought it would have happened before the holiday because it would have looked good in baseball circles of, okay, this didn't work and everything. If you DFA him, what you can do is you're acknowledging there's no trade market. And there is no trade market. Because if anybody was going to give him 30 cents on the dollar, they would have done it by now. They can't have him go to Clearwater if he's not going to be here. You don't hold, in my mind. And so what I think you do is you should have just released him now before Christmas. Thank Nick for his contributions and move on and be able to kind of, break free on that one a little bit.
All right, Kevin, you are a Baseball Hall of Fame voter, and you do put your ballot on Facebook every December. You voted for 8 candidates last year.
Because I love taking torturous crap from everybody.
Well, we'll give you a little, sure.
Mm-hmm.
You voted for 8 candidates last year, the 2025 ballot, and 3 of those guys did get in: Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner. And you voted for 8 again this year. And there's the ballots side by side. What convinced you that Dustin Pedroia, Andy Pettitte, and David Wright now are worthy Hall of Famers?
Let me start one by one. I vote for Utley. So to me, Utley and Pedroia are a lot of the same guy. They were the centerpiece second baseman of their era in their respective leagues. If you look at their numbers, they're not far off. Pedroia actually does have an MVP award. So I kind of just went with it where, looking at it a little deeper because of different aspects of it, I decided I thought Pedroia was probably, if I'm voting for Utley, I would look pretty foolish not to vote for Pedroia. Mm-hmm. David Wright, it's more of a feel thing. And am I expecting David Wright's ever going to get a plaque at Cooperstown? No. I think for me, it's big moments, good defense. I remember David Wright and thinking he's one of those guys you didn't want up in a big spot. Again, do I think David Wright's going to get him? Probably not. I do think he should stay on the ballot. And part of the guys I do vote for, to be honest, are, I hate saying tactical. That sounds very like, scheming. But there's also a point where, like, Francisco Rodriguez is another guy. We haven't really had a decision on where the closer fits in the Hall of Fame discussion. But I think Francisco Rodriguez, if we're going to put closers in, should probably have a real deep look. And so I know not a lot of people agree with me. He's at 17%. But I'm one of those who believes that at least we should have the discussion of, given in modern baseball how important the closer position is, K-Rod to me is one of those guys I would go with. Pettitte is my toughest choice because I almost think I'm rewarding Pettit for more of the Yankees success than maybe what he did. And I know people will say, well, what about the HGH stuff? I've kind of started to draw a hard line on this one, or a hard line on this one. And I think you and I have gone, you and me guys, we've gone over this. I'm more willing to forgive the guys before the congressional hearings that did it than I am A-Rod, Manny, who failed tests. There's a proof and all that, Manny failing multiple tests after seeing what it did to the game. I'm not saying Andy Pettit was a choir boy. No. He is one of the better big game pitchers that we've seen in this sport. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why I went down that road.
Hey, Kevin, the guy that I don't know who he is that actually collects the ballots or gets them from wherever.
Jack O'Connell.
Posts them on social media and all that.
Yeah, Brian Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's got about 18% of the votes in. He's got Beltran and Andrew Jones as in. Looks like they're in at like 82%. Third is Chase Utley at about 62%. Probably not going to get 75, but I'm actually surprised Utley's that high. And my thinking with Utley, I've said this a bunch of times, if Utley's in, Rollins has to go in. Just like I thought when Trammell went in, Whitaker needed to go in, and Whitaker never got close. How do you feel about where Utley stands, and how do you feel about him and Rollins? You voted for both of them.
Yeah. I'll say this. The one thing when you look at these numbers that Ryan compiles and everything, that 81% is going to drop. And so is Chase is probably going to drop as more anonymous ballots come in and all that. It seems like people, like, I know there's 2 people that turned in blank ballots, which count as a vote for nobody. And I get they're hardline guys. As far as the Rollins and Utley thing, nothing against Chase. This is not an anti-Chase thing. Chase is more, though, Chase has figured into more of the analytic darling. And as the voting base gets younger, used to be that you have a vote for life when you got your 10 years. You know, there are people who were like 80 years old who hadn't covered a game for 20 years who were covering it. That's fading away, and more of the younger voters are getting more of a deeper voice. And Utley is more of a darling of those type of voters. I will tell you, at least in my thing, and this is nothing. I covered both of them. I love watching both of them. The majority of their careers here. I'm still trying to figure out why Jimmy has not had a surge more on voting than Chase. Jimmy was a superior defender. Jimmy does have an MVP. Jimmy has more of the counting stats, if you will, over time. His analytics, his war is not good and all that. But I also think that part of it is also not factoring in the defensive end of it as much as you should. Because I think Jimmy was one of the best shortstop gloves I've seen. You know, he's not maybe Ozzie Smith level, but he was better than Jeter. He was better than A-Rod when A-Rod was playing short, all that. And he had an ability to change games. And so, yes, should both of them get in my mind? Yeah, they should. I think Chase falls in my mind in the Don Mattingly school, which was for 5 or 6 years, the best at his position in the game, one of the top 5 overall in the game. And I think we should, I know there are people, small hall, big hall kind of thing. I think we should honor the best of that generation. So every generation of the game is represented. And, you know, that's why I think Mattingly should be in. You know, you mentioned Lou Whitaker. Lou Whitaker and Trammell are one of the best double play combos in the history of the sport. I think they should be in.
Sure.
But you know, if you're going down that road, to me, I am amazed that Chase has been so high and Jimmy has not gotten the surge.
Going to be interesting. We'll get the results in about 3 weeks. And by the way, on next year's ballot, 2027, the likes of John Lester, Ryan Zimmerman, and Buster Posey. Hey, last thing from me, Kevin.
Posey's the only automatic one in that.
Yeah, I agree. Kevin, last thing. You can't say Notre Dame because they're not in it. Who wins this college football playoff bracket?
Honestly, don't care. I honestly,
okay.
no, and I hate saying it this way because I love college football. This process, and not just because of Notre Dame. Because look, Miami deserved to be in over Notre Dame, but the whole process of it felt like Miami got shoehorned in, and the way the process was, where they were behind Notre Dame until they got like on the next each other's line. The team I think that's probably the best of the bunch is Ohio State. I think if they played Indiana in a rematch, I would take Ohio State.
Yeah.
I would love to see Indiana get to it, win it. But, the process is a joke. And honestly, the first round kind of proved that. No offense to James Madison and Tulane. I saw Tulane where they were here a couple weeks ago when they were playing Temple. They're a nice team. They didn't belong in that format. But because the ACC has a screwed up way of having their conference title game, Miami got to go in even though they didn't play in the conference title game. It's a problem.
Yeah, we could probably have our own hour, Kevin, just talking about college sports and NIL and transfer portals and all the things that are ruining the game in my world. And I
don't mind. I love college football. I don't look. The portal is the bigger issue, and the coaches leaving is the bigger issue. And the power struggle between the Big Ten, SEC, and everybody else.
Yeah.
That's what's going to kill this.
Yep, I agree. Well, Kevin, we have taken up all your time plus a little extra. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year, guys.
Thanks, Kevin. Take care.
Yep. Be good.
All right. Hey, Chet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal, Phil Stiefel, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. He's still chasing that 1,000, Chet. He's not far off. Jump in there and like and subscribe. Phil's show is on there. So is ours. You can find Philly Pressbox Radio on our YouTube channel as well and on our Facebook page. Like and follow that one too. Again, it's the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
Yeah.
Chet, holiday season. What is going on at the Irish Rover Station House?
Well, Bill, I'm glad you asked. It's a good time always at the Irish Rover. You know that. They are in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, and you will always find terrific food on the menu, plus 24 beers on tap, happy hour specials, and music most weekends as well. Take note, the Irish Rover will be closing at 6 p.m. on both New Year's Eve, Wednesday, and New Year's Day, Thursday. Happy New Year from the gang at the Irish Rover Station House. They are located on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne and on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com.
It's me, Jackie Bam Bam from 93.3 WMMR, Philly Pressbox Radio. Chet, Phil, what are you doing? It's me, Jackie Bam Bam. Hey, Chet, Phil, I love you. All the best. Bye.
Whoa.
Always good to hear Jackie Bam Bam. Hey,
yeah, look
Chet,
for Jackie on November 1st, New Year's Day. He will be marching with the Mummers, as he does every year in the Mummers Parade.
There you go. Hey, we couldn't let New Year's come and go without talking music. You did just that with Zeek Mitchell, founder of the haZy Cosmic Jive Tribute Band. Tell us about that. And hopefully when you talked to Zeek, you found out where they came up with that name.
Oh, I know where they came up the name for sure. Let me load up the video here and we will get to that. Let me tell you about Zeek, though. Anybody who knows me knows that. Not yet. All right. Here's the deal, Bill. I have been a fan of David Bowie pretty much my entire life. I think you know that. So 3 years ago or so, I ran into haZy Cosmic Jive. They were playing at the Bridgeport Rib House. I checked them out and found out they were pretty good. So I went back to see them a couple more times, including their last couple of shows at the Brooklyn Bowl that they did in early January, both 2024 and 2025. And they will be there again a week from Friday. I became friendly with the band's founder, Zeek Mitchell, along the way, and I thought it would be fun to talk with him about his band and much, much more. So here is our chat. fan of music, with classic rock absolutely my favorite genre. With that in mind, I'm excited to talk with a terrific Philly musician who happens to be the founder of the great Bowie tribute band called haZy Cosmic Jive. Zeek Mitchell, aka Z. How you doing, Z?
Good, Chet. How are you?
I am great. Enjoying the holiday season here. Life is good. Let's talk about tribute bands. With so many legendary bands from the 1960s and 70s no longer around, there are a slew of wonderful tribute acts out there today that find fans like geezers like me who still enjoy hearing those songs performed live. I mean, in the Pennsylvania, South Jersey area alone, there are several of them that pay tribute to Led Zeppelin, the Stones, AC/DC, Grateful Dead, Pink Floyd, Springsteen, of course, and David Bowie. And Zeke, you told me something recently that I found interesting regarding your view of tribute bands. Explain.
I've always really considered myself an original musician and sort of fell into this tribute band thing. I was anti-tribute band when that genre started getting hot, with original musicians already competing to be able to perform live, making any kind of money, competing against regular cover bands. Like, the idea that a tribute band trend came in, really disturbed me. It was just going to be impossible for original musicians to sort of make their mark. And I really do consider myself an original musician. And I fell into the Bowie tribute thing by doing a one-off, and really enjoyed it, because I actually did say if I was ever going to do a tribute band, it would be something more interesting and challenging, like a Bowie thing, or maybe like Little Feat. And so the core of haZy Cosmic Jive are the guys that I did this one-off with, and we had some fun. We talked about doing something for Philly Loves Bowie Week. This was mid 2019, and we saw on the horizon that in January there was going to be a Philly Loves Bowie Week thing, and how do we get involved? And we formed this band with higher level talent than we had for that first run. And it stuck.
And for those who don't know, the band's name, haZy Cosmic Jive, if you're a Bowie fan, you know this. But if you're not, it comes from the song Starman. That weren't no DJ. That was haZy Cosmic Jive. Forgive me, folks, for trying to sing. You got some great musicians, though, in this band. There's a picture from your Facebook page, I believe.
Chad, I am so honored to be able to play with this group of musicians. That's me on the left. I'm going to start on the right. The rock of this band, Joe Tassoni, is the bass player. Next to him standing is our original drummer, Anthony Rodriguez. Anthony doesn't play with us anymore because he just got busy with 3 kids and all that. But we have some great drummers who play with us, like Freddie Berman and Brad Beatty. Brad Beatty is in Shine On. Sitting at the drum set is John Paul Smith, a very unique musician who plays flute and trumpet, in addition to playing guitars and keyboards, these amazing keyboards, and has a voice like Freddie Mercury, up in that range. Then we got Camille K, who's finally broken the 20 barrier. She just had her birthday.
Just turned 20, yeah.
And Joey DiTullio was next to her. And yep. Joey's like this amazing guitarist and an amazing singer. People don't realize how great a singer he is. And then our sax player, the only person in the band older than me, and then that's Bill Butrin. We're the OGs of the band, and the rest of them are like less than 35 years old, I think.
Well, there's a pic from last January, the show at the Brooklyn Bowl, and we're going to talk about the upcoming show, January 9th, in just a bit. It is all part, as you mentioned, of the broader Philly Loves Bowie Week, with various events tied to Bowie's January 8th birthday and his unfortunate January 10th, 2016 passing. For people who don't know, why is David Bowie celebrated so wonderfully in Philadelphia?
When he tried to break into the U.S. market, Philly was one of his proving grounds, and he did really well in cities like Philly and Cleveland, and he just kept coming back. He did Ziggy Stardust stuff in late 71, came back around again to do the Ziggy tour. He did stuff both he started at the Tower Theater, and he just developed this rabid following here. In fact, when I was 6-7 years old, I was hearing Bowie from my neighborhood friends' older siblings. And that's how I got into Bowie, was like hearing Hunky Dory, the album Hunky Dory, which just had its 54th anniversary, and the Ziggy albums. Those 2 albums just captivated me. And yeah, it was like this crazy rabid following in Philly, and he never forgot it. And then he came and recorded the Young Americans album in 1974. And there was a group of teenagers who were following him around from the recording studio to his hotel. They became known as the Sigma Kids because he invited them up to hear the final mixes of the Young Americans recordings. Two of those folks, Patty Brett and Marla Konevsky. Marla went to my elementary school, a number of years older than me, so I didn't overlap with her, but we have that in common. Anyway, they're involved in the Philly Loves Bowie Week planning.
And of course, the run of shows at the Tower turned into the David Live album, which was, something that I played over and over back in the mid 70s.
I wore that album and the tape, the cassette tape out. And as you know, every January we feature like one of the top, anniversary albums. And we did that a couple of years ago. The whole David Live album, front to back. It was a pretty impressive undertaking, frankly.
Well, as I mentioned, you got something coming up on January 9th. It's something that's become an annual tradition, the big haZy Cosmic Jive show early in the year at Philly's Brooklyn Bowl. So what will Bowie fans get to see this time around January 9th?
So, as I mentioned, we tend to feature like, say, a 40th or 50th year release anniversary album. And this year it'll be Station to Station. So we'll play that whole album. I haven't decided yet whether we'll do it like straight through or if we'll sprinkle all the songs throughout the set. What is a great catalog of Ziggy era and post Ziggy era hits, and we throw in some deep cuts. We go hard at these shows. We do a 3-hour full 3-hour show. Take a very short break, so it's broken up into a first and second set.
Well, I'll be there with some friends. I can't wait. Hey, Z, on a completely different note, you look to be happy and healthy now, in great shape. But that wasn't the case 2 years ago, November 2023. We almost lost you, pal.
Indeed. What can I say? I had a heart attack. I had a heart attack in the worst artery you can have, the LAD
Widowmaker,
artery,
right?
The Widowmaker artery. I mean, to be frank, I have family history with cardiovascular disease. My mother, I joke, had, the Guinness Book of World Records for the number of stents in a human body. And as you can tell, I'm in pretty good shape for a guy who's going to turn 60 next year. But, I guess I got that gene that clogs up the arteries. Fortunately, the procedure showed that I only had one clog, and it was just 100% clogged. I didn't realize that my baseline was as bad as it was until, I got blood flowing through more cleanly. And I always felt like I was in good shape. I swam competitively all through college and into the Olympic trials and all that. But I feel better now than I did probably like 20 years ago.
That's great. Well, so glad you survived that and are doing very well today, obviously. Now, besides the January 9th haZy Cosmic Jive show, what else do you have going on musically?
2026, I'm looking forward to pushing out a lot of new original material. I'm going to do 2 record release shows. I'm going to do 2 different compilation releases. One of them is called My Dark Light, what I consider my Z material, influenced by all kinds of alternative rock sounds. I mean, from trip hop to industrial, you name it. And then my Zeek Mitchell material, which is a little more like classic singer-songwriter influenced. I have a compilation called Songs of the Heart and Heartless. And a good bit of that material has already been released, but I'm just going to package these things as actual albums and press the albums and do official record release shows. I did just release a Christmas song. It's a cover of Big Star's Jesus Christ. And I consider it a bookend to an original Hanukkah song that I put out in a lot of ways. I won't get into it, but they match up really well. You can listen to them back to back. There's some similar production qualities to it. And I did it. I recorded with Joey DiTullio. So it all makes sense.
All right, Zeke, in our final couple of minutes, let's play a game of Fast Five. I'm going to hit you with 5 questions. Give me 5 brief answers. All right, number 1, what is the first ever concert you remember attending?
It was just before my first Bowie show in 76. I went to a Jackson Browne concert at the Spectrum.
My first was also 1976, Kiss in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Number 2, I saw David Bowie 4 times between 1983 and 1990. How many times were you able to see the Thin White Duke in concert, and which show stands out?
So I've only seen him 5 times because I kind of got bored of Bowie. How do I say that? Like, I just thought his 80s output was So I saw him in 76, 77, 78. Yes, I was young. 83 and 87. A couple of those were Tower shows. A couple were Spectrum shows. And then one was at Veteran Stadium in 87. And so I would say my first show, 76. It was the Isolar tour. I realized what I was watching was amazing. So
yeah. Number 3, what is David Bowie's best album?
I'm usually a toss-up between Hunky Dory and Ziggy Stardust.
Always Ziggy for me.
With a close second tier of Diamond Dogs, I think.
Yeah, love that one. Number 4, give me a favorite Bowie lyric of yours.
Okay. Can I give you 2?
Sure.
So many people probably don't know that Bowie was very spiritual and almost became a monk. And I watched the ripples change their size, but never leave the stream of warm impermanence.
There you go. Changes.
So that stream of warm impermanence, that's a core Buddhist tenet. Being in the stream and the idea of impermanence, very, Buddhist philosophy. And then I just sang a cappella at a friend's wedding this past summer, David Bowie's song Soul Love. And the line, love is not loving, love it. Love is not just a noun, it's a verb. You have to choose to love every day. So
yeah, he had so many great ones like that. Number 5, our final one. What band or artist, dead or alive, that you haven't seen live would you like to go back in time and see in their prime? And it can't be the Beatles. Don't say the Beatles.
Okay, but I'm going to go to that era. I'm going to say 2 here. It's a toss up between Hendrix and Jim Morrison, The Doors. I missed. I was too young to see either of them. I just, everything I've heard about their performances are legendary. I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah, I always answer The Doors or Led Zeppelin when people ask me that. So, yeah. Well, Z, we are out of time. Folks, if you're a fan of David Bowie or just seeing great live music in general, get your butts to the Brooklyn Bowl, Philadelphia, Friday, January 9th for haZy Cosmic Jive. You won't be disappointed. I promise you that. Thanks a bunch, Z. Happy New Year to you. Stay well.
You too. Thank you.
As always, good stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. Good talking to Z. Can't wait to see the show a week from Friday. Tickets still available. Brooklyn Bowl, Philadelphia, Friday, January 9th.
And he outdid me. He had 100% on the Widowmaker. I only had 95.
How about that? Yeah.
Show off. We're both here to talk about it.
What a show off.
Good stuff. Hey, Chet, what could be better than Eagles playoff tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Yeah, Cavs Philly Tailgates has been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years. Known best for their tailgate parties, Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. And yeah, there are those tailgates, those epic tailgates before all Eagles games outside the link. And there is one before the regular season finale this Sunday in the hours before the Eagles-Commanders game. Get details on all events at Cavs website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
Hey, Chet, it's time for us to make our weekly picks.
It is.
We got to know how Bob Patron Jr., you and I did in week 17, but I think you might have kind of double doinked yourself back into the fray with a pretty lousy week.
It was a Chet choke. I admit it. I had a rough week. I went back and forth on a couple of the games. Everyone I went back and forth on, I went the wrong way. I choked.
Double doink.
I admit it. Yeah, you love it. I know. There it is. There's the evidence. Boop, 5-0 last week. I was 2-3. You were okay, 3-2, Bill. So you picked up a game on me anyway. But yeah, Boop and I now tied for the top spot heading into the final weekend. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, for anybody that hasn't paid attention for the last 17 weeks, let's tell everybody how we do this. We pick 5 games each week. We're going to do 6 this week because there's some good matchups.
Yeah.
No spreads, always the NFC East games, always the Sunday Night Football game, and then we throw in the additional games. And that's how we got to 6. So here we go, Chet. Here's you have Boop stuff, right?
I do indeed.
Okay, so here's our add-on games. Panthers at the Bucks. The Bucks are -3. That's a Saturday game.
Okay. As you know, I do not look at Boop's picks in advance, so this is going to be news to me as well as you. Regarding that one, Boop says, we just want to see the division title come down to a game between 2 non-contending teams with records under 500. Sounds like the old NHL Norris division. Remember the Norris division, Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Boop is picking the home team, Tampa Bay. So am I.
So am I. It's a winner-take-all game right there. And
it is.
The Bucks have not been playing very good, and they're all banged up still. Been banged up all year. Seahawks at the 49ers. Seahawks are -1.5. That's Saturday Night Football, and I think this is going to be an interesting game, Chet.
I do. And Boop says with a win, by the time San Francisco plays another road game, the baseball giants might be eliminated from 2026 NL West contention. That's because, of course, the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara this year.
Yeah.
Boop is picking the 49ers, and so am I. I'm hoping we have something different because otherwise we're going to end in a tie.
Yeah, I can't make up any ground because I'm picking the 49ers as well in this game.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm in trouble as well. Chargers at the Broncos. The Broncos are -7.5. And by the way, it's already been announced that Justin Herbert is not playing in this game.
That is correct. So the obvious pick there is Denver. Boop says, Trey Lance? Trey Lance? Wasn't he the oft misunderstood bad boy of King Arthur's court? Okay, Boop. Boop is picking Denver, so am I.
All right. Now we get to the NFC East. The Cowboys at the Giants. The Cowboys are -5.5. I don't know why they're only -5.5. The Giants stink.
Yeah, but look how the Giants did last Sunday, beating the crap out of the Raiders.
Who stinks worse?
Boop says Dallas, 7-8-1, has not had a consecutive seasons under 500 since 2000, 2001, 2002. Wow. He's picking the Cowboys, so they would finish 8-8-1. I got to pick Dallas also.
Yeah, you have to. Big game here. Ravens at the Steelers. Ravens -3.5. This is Sunday Night Football. Steelers are a game ahead, so the Ravens must win. If they win, they take the division.
And this is the one that's going to decide our pick'em battle because Boop says Pittsburgh's most recent postseason victory was the last Chiefs game in which Patrick Mahomes was not a member of its organization, January 2017. But first, there is a division title to finally secure. Boop is picking the Steelers. I am not. I don't think they're playing all that well. I'm taking Baltimore to win on the road.
I'm really surprised Boop is taking the Steelers because without DK Metcalf, who's suspended, it makes that Steelers offense very, very small, if you will. I'm going Ravens in this game. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
Commanders at the Eagles. Eagles are -8. I don't know that it matters who plays. Josh Johnson, I guess, is playing for the Commies.
I believe.
Yeah, I believe. So,
yeah,
Eagles -8.
All right. Sounds like Boop wants the Eagles to play their starters. Boop says, never, ever lay down your sword or your shoulder pads until you absolutely have to. Boop is picking the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles to win and cover.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles, but I would I have no problem with them playing. I just assume them play them. You know,
I'm happy either way, to be honest. Like I said, I think they could beat them with Tanner McKee, and whoever else they throw out there.
Well, Tanner McKee, to me, is not the issue. The issue is whether Dickerson needs to have a day off or, how that goes. But, yeah, I can see sporadically maybe not playing some guys, but I don't see that they're going to wholesale shut them down. I just don't think that's good. All right, that gets us
to
to
check
our
your blood sugar, Bill. Make sure to check your blood sugar.
There you go. Hey, next up's our margin of victory pool. I'm chasing you down. It's slow, but here we are. How are we doing after week 17?
Oh, yeah. You are going to maybe catch me with a good final week. There's the standings in the margin of victory pool. No big change last week because you and Boop each picked up 7 points with your correct picks. I picked up 6, taking the Jags. So Boop is up by 34 on me and up by 37 on you. So I don't think we're going to get that miracle. Looks like Boop is going to win the margin of victory pool.
Yeah. So who are we taking? Because maybe you'll come up with the 34 extra points.
Would be nice. Boop. Boop says, he is taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Titans. So he is taking Jacksonville. The team that I took last week.
Pretty good pick to have left.
Yeah. I'm taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win big no matter who's playing. So they were one of the 4 ones that I considered, and I said, what the hell? I haven't taken the Eagles all season. I'm taking them this week, so go Birds!
Well, good pick. As much as it pains me to do this because they're playing the Colts, but I am going to take Houston. The Colts have apparently retired Phillip Rivers again. He's not going to play this week. And the Houston defense is really good. I don't know who's going to play down there for them, but I'm gonna take Houston in this game and see what happens. I hate that.
Probably a good pick, but Boop and I already used them, so we couldn't consider Houston. So yeah, Boop has Jacksonville. I have the Eagles. You have Houston, and I'm saying go Ravens this weekend, so I can win the pick'em pool.
I'm saying go Bob Moser is what I'm saying right there. Bob knows.
Bill will beat Chet. He might. It could happen.
There you go. Bob's been in my corner all season long. I'm gonna pull it out for you, Bob. All right. Chet, couple of great guests tonight at Kevin Cooney and Zeek Mitchell. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week back on our regular scheduled Wednesday night at 7?
Yes, next week, Bill, our very first show of 2026. We're going to preview the Eagles postseason and the January 21st Philadelphia Sports Writers Association annual banquet with the help of 2, not 1, but 2 wonderful guests. And those guests are Bob Angelo, the author and former NFL films producer who's been with us 3 or 4 times before, and PSWA President Mike Shute. So that is going to be fun. By the way, tickets are available for that PSWA banquet with honorees to include Dave the Hammer Schultz and Phillies lefty Christopher Sanchez. The PSWA's website, PhiladelphiaSportsWriters.com, is the place to get those tickets.
All right, that'll be fun. Hey, Chet, we're going to close out the year with our 5 greatest, best, most memorable moments in 2025 of Philly sports. Obviously, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl is at the top of our list. Who else do you have on your list? You were having trouble getting to 7, so I lowered it to 5. And when I sat down to actually try to put it together, I ended up at about 9.
Yeah, funny thing happened. First, I got overwhelmed. I said, I can't come up with 5 off the top of my head. But then I thought about it some more. I did some research, looked at some articles, to review past year. And I ended up posting this or coming up with this, Bill. The 10 biggest sports stories of 2025 in Philadelphia, starting from number 10 and moving backwards. Bernie Perrant dying. That was unfortunate, but certainly a major story. Penn State firing James Franklin after a while. Flyers making the coaching change. The Sixers drafting VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor, and he's shown in his first week of the season, and now he's playing well again. Jordan Davis blocking the field goal attempt against the Rams in that September game, taking it in for a touchdown. How about Joan Duran's first couple of appearances and his entrance out of the Phillies bullpen after they acquired him? Saquon Barkley's 78-yard touchdown run against the Rams last January in the NFC Divisional Playoff game in the snow, of course. Kyle Schwarber's big 4-home run, 9 RBI game. The Eagles' rout of the Commanders, 55-23 in the NFC Championship game last January. 5 takeaways in that one. And, of course, the Super Bowl number 1, highlighted by that Cooper DeJean pick and Jalen Hurts throwing the dagger to Devontae Smith. So there you go, Bill.
Well, there you go. And we aren't far off, actually, believe it or not. I just lumped it all together and said the Sixers collapse because there was so much baggage there.
Yeah, they were awful.
firing John Tortorella. That couldn't be soon enough. I'm glad that happened. I had, let's see, because I got them in the wrong order, but I'm just going to read them off. The addition of Duran. I also had that on my list. The passing of Bernie Perrant. I had that on my list. You missed it. Has to be on here. Not a good thing. The Kirkering elimination blunder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I
tried to put that out of my mind, Bill.
Well, me too, but it kept popping back up. The Cooper DeJean pick 6 in the Super Bowl after Merrill says, they got him again. They got him again of Patrick Mahomes. The Schwarber 4 home run game against the Braves on August the 28th. And the Eagles beat the Rams 28-22 in the snow to go to the NFC Championship game. Barkley, as you said, 202 yards rushing, 71-yard run in the fourth quarter. And, of course, the winning of the Super Bowl. So those were my memorable moments, and we actually came out pretty close.
Yeah, and I will post mine again on Facebook, I guess, in the morning. But, yeah, there they are. Those are the 10 that I came up with off the top of my head and some research that I did. So what a year. And we did 53 shows, Bill. So it was indeed a happy, happy new year.
Yes, it was. I'll send you my list, too. You can put my list with your list and see how we're close. I'll put them in order. All right. Anything else? You ready to wrap it up?
Chip Kelly's got a new job. Northwestern's new offensive coordinator. What the hell? How does this guy keep getting hired? Get out of here.
You know what? That's I don't want to use that C word, but it's like inviting that C word into your organization.
Ooh, okay. I think I know the word.
Yeah. I don't like to throw that word around because it's a bad thing. But he is that, and he's been that in every organization he's ever been in. And why Northwestern would bring him in is just beyond me. Michigan has a new football coach too. Whittingham is going to take over that mess while Jim Harbaugh skates his way through the NFL.
Hey, let's focus on the positive. We had a great year at Philly Pressbox Radio. Thank you to everybody who has watched, who has supported us, particularly our sponsors, of course, Irish Rover Station House and, Cavs Philly Tailgates. We love those guys.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without all the people watching, listening, and whether it's live or whatever. Of course, don't forget Phil. Phil's stifling the trending in the AM.
Absolutely.
We're
Thank you,
part
Phil.
of his group as well.
Phil's on vacation this week. Having a good old time.
He's in Florida, but he's watching.
Yep.
All right. Let's wrap this thing up. Let's thank tonight's special guests, Kevin Cooney and Zeek Mitchell, our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Pressbox Radio next Wednesday, January the 7th already, Chet, at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Go Birds. Let's go Flyers. Let's go Sixers. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never